101.7 The Truth Nation, is Thursday. We are live and direct at the American Family Insurance Studio in the heart of beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Is going down. Happy Thursday to all of our listeners, to the entire Truth Nation. Thank you so much for tapping in with us Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Digi Meech still in the building, too. You know, he's just on his producing thing. You feel me? He ain't all in the camera, all in the videos. We get into it. Listen, let's talk about it, right? I was online today, and I seen that Moneybagg Yo has a $100 million lawsuit that he is currently being slapped across the face with. And this is presented by his former manager, his previous manager, who allegedly had been spending her own personal finances to front his career, including using her credit and her personal funds to purchase him a Rolls Royce, something that would make him look, you know, like a rapper, amongst other of various different things. And I think it's a shame, because when you're doing business, obviously I'm a manager and I have a client as well. And one of the mistakes that a lot of managers make is handshake contracts. You are purchasing $100,000 of cars, jewelry, all of the above, only to secure this deal with the handshake. So me personally, I don't know if she's going to get anything. I mean, if she, you know, is able to file a lawsuit, obviously she has something. But again, if it's not in paper, does it even really matter, right? Is that fair? I don't know, man, but we got to do better as a people when it comes to business. I understand that you want, you know, someone to make it. We all do, right? But business is business. Me personally, I'm not spending that much money to help somebody without having a contract put in place, especially not an artist, because we all know that some artists, they have a tendency of not paying people. Why would I do that? That makes absolutely no sense. So all in all, I hope it works out for both parties. You know, right is right and wrong is wrong. But people, we got to do better. We got to do better. All right, in today's news, let's talk about legacy for a second, because when an artist passes away, something interesting happens in this industry, and everybody starts telling their version of who that person really was. Whether it's your play cousin, your best friend, for whatever reason, when people pass away, everybody just seems to have all of the information that the world never had, right? We saw it with Michael Jackson. We saw it with Prince. Obviously, the music is untouched, but the conversation around the person starts to shift. And my question today is simply, who actually owns an artist's story after they are gone? Is it the family who lived it? Is it the label that profited from it? Or is it the public who consumed it? Because once somebody becomes a global icon, their life stops being just theirs. It becomes history. But what should history be rewritten by people who weren't even in every room? This is coming from the clip that we seen with Oprah, how she allegedly was at an event with Whitney Houston. Rest in power to Whitney Houston. I'm a huge fan. I absolutely love that lady. But she made a comment that was so unnecessary. She stated that during an event, Whitney Houston was so high that she fell off the stage. And then there's been multiple interviews after that from her loved ones who claimed that she wasn't high, but actually she fell because of some issues with the stage and her performing. My question is this. Now, if you grew up in the 90s, you know, 80s, all of that, we've seen her interview Whitney multiple times, right? As well as her best friend, Gil. And I can't seem to understand how a person who claims to have such a prominent relationship with one of the best singers or entertainers, rather, in the entire history, why would she say something like that? Why does she feel that it is necessary to speak about someone who is no longer here to defend themselves, man? Let's talk about it. It's getting out of line. You know, I want to open this up to everybody. 833-212-1017. If an artist is no longer here to defend, confirm, or explain their truth? Should new stories still be told about them publicly? Or should their legacy be protected as it was presented while they were alive? I personally do not agree. I do not like when people tend to get on interviews and have conversations. Again, we've seen this with Prince. We've seen it with Michael Jackson, even Tupac. It's like as soon as someone is gone, everybody and their mama have something to say. And it's like, where was all of this energy when this person was here? Where was all of this energy when this person was alive? Why do people, especially people who was not a part of their legacy or their day-to-day life, why do they feel that it's necessary to speak on someone? Especially when you have a platform as large as someone as Oprah, and her comments can literally shift the way that people view whoever it is that she's talking about. Obviously, Whitney has diehard fans, right? So, and we all know the real, and we all come from where we come from. You know what I'm saying? Like we got some family members that's like Whitney. It is what it is. But who are you to get on a platform and make a comment about one of the best to ever do it, someone that you considered your friend, and you have your own secrets, Oprah? Y'all don't want to talk about you and Gail relationship or you and Stedman, but you got everything else to say about everybody else and their mama. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I feel like it's disrespectful. I stand by the family and the comments that they made and how they feel, because again, it's unnecessary. What do you gain by speaking on someone who is no longer here if it's not anything that's good? If it's not anything that's positive, why do we as a people, not even just with celebrities, but just in general, we see it all the time on social media, especially on Facebook. When someone passes away, everyone has something to say. Where was this energy when this person was here? It's simply just not fair. It's not fair whatsoever. You're not allowing that person to defend themselves. And more than likely, to me, there's an agenda. There is an agenda at hand, you know? It don't make no sense. Truth Nation, 833-212-1017. Let's talk about it. Shout out to the chat. Biko Baker says contracts are needed. Tara says protect the legacy by any means necessary. Legacy is more important than life, because your legacy is how your family is going to eat. If they continue to diminish this woman's legacy, I don't know who owns the estate, but if her family owns it, comments like that of that magnitude could easily stop sales. It could stop a lot of things. So we have to be careful on how we use our platform. And then just speaking as a Black woman, right? Like someone of that status, someone of Oprah's status, and someone of Whitney's status, especially if you say that that's your friend. Why would you do that? That is so embarrassing. On behalf of Black women out there, we do not stand with her or her comments. It's a shame. It is a shame. And I can't wait until somebody has the energy and the time and is not afraid to stand up and call her out on her BS. I'm telling you, this does not make any sense whatsoever. Whitney, we love you. We're going to continue to support her. And again, seeing that comment and seeing that video clip was something that really kind of disturbed me. You know, it disturbed me a lot, because I just get so tired of people in power and position being able to create the narrative that they want on specific people, especially if they're not here. It's not fair. These people have family, they have fans, they have a lot of people that love them. And most importantly, what's done in the dark comes to light. You can't talk about someone else's secrets when you haven't even cleaned out your closet. You understand? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So, Truth Nation, do you think that telling new stories helps or hurts their legacy? I don't necessarily know if this would be considered as a new story, because obviously we didn't have to hear about Whitney's addiction or her issues. We seen it. Her and Bobby had one of the first reality TV shows, right? So there was no need to mention anything about it. We know what she struggled with, and guess what? We still loved her for it. And I don't know if she feel because she was high. Her family is saying that's not true. But whether she did or she didn't, It doesn't matter. It's Whitney Houston. Who cares? It's Whitney Houston. It does not matter. We love TT Houston. We love her despite of her faults. But you, man, at what point do we cancel people who continue to display this type of behavior? I'm so serious. Dealing with these legacies and these artists who are gone, it's already enough for the family to have to deal with estates, to have to deal with fans, to have to deal with narratives, to have to deal with people putting out biopics, movies without their permission. There's so much that goes into it. And the last thing you want is someone who has an extreme amount of power and platform to make a comment on someone. And if I'm not mistaken, the timing of it is crazy because I'm not sure if they were talking about Clive Davis when this comment came out, but it did happen. This clip popped up on the same day that Clive Davis passed away. And if you are, a researcher like me and you're into conspiracy theories and so on, we all know how that played out. We all know about the note that Brandy gave Whitney. We all know about all of the above. So again, propaganda agenda. What was the purpose of her getting up on that platform after Clive Davis died to say that Whitney Houston fell off the stage because she was high? Let's talk about it, Truth Nation. 833-212-1017. Who owns an artist's story after they are gone? Is it the family? Is it the estate? Is it the fans? Who is it? I want to hear from you. We got to take a break. Do not touch that dial. 101.7 The Truth.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief.
Truth Nation. I was scrolling on Instagram and I seen a clip that Oprah shared regarding Whitney Houston and how she fell off the side of a stage during her performance because she was high. And again, I don't understand it. And these are my personal opinions. These are not facts, but these are my personal opinions, especially as someone who has been in the music industry. I just don't think it's fair for people to utilize their platform to bring up things of this nature, especially for someone who was very iconic and someone that she considered as her friend. It was very distasteful. It was very unclassy. It just looks like a mess. It's low key like hate. You hating. Why are you attempting to tarnish this woman's legacy, especially after allegations that had came out about surrounding her death overall? So again, let's talk about this, Truth Nation. We got Tia on the line. Tia, thank you so much for tapping in with us today.
Hi, how are you?
I am well.
I kind of want to just, good. I'm going to disagree with you on this. I think when people sign up to have a public life, that's what they sign up for. All games are there to be played, good and bad. And it's the nature, it's the good and the bad. I would have to look at the whole context of what Oprah said, but it's just like any piece of history or historian. You're going to have people that recount stories, recount things. I don't think by nature Oprah is a nasty person, nasty spirited. So I would want to look at the big picture of that. But I just think it's fair game when you live a public life. I think, like you said, everybody is pretty much aware of Whitney's struggles. And I think it's good that we're able to talk about that in our community. It's too much, hiding in darkness on substance abuse, mental health. Let's talk about it. And if Whitney is a point that we could use to open that gate and have a dialogue about substance abuse, about those different type of struggles, I think it's fair. I don't think it's something nasty spirited, if you will. But I just think as a Black community, we need jumping off points to have broader conversations about some of those struggles that took her life, unfortunately, her daughter as well. And I just think, just think of it as a person, as we tell Black history or American history. We're going to have people, have accounts of our lives, some fact-based, some of their own, perception. And I think if, like you said, she was a friend of hers in some fashion, I don't know, to what degree, but I think there's a level that we can take this as something positive. We don't have to make it negative. I don't have the whole context of what she said, but I don't think in just we can just say, hands off. I think that everything, when you sign up to get the money and the fame, you have to be, accepting of what comes along with all the gifts. There's a dark side to that too. And then Oprah could have her own perception of what, occurred, and that's just her opinion.
Thank you so much,
So
Tia.
that's
I
all
don't
I want
disagree
to
with
say.
you. I understand, and you are absolutely right. And I understand your point of view. Thank you so much for tapping in with us regarding that. I think that
Okay, you have a great show. Thank you.
no problem. Thank you so much. So to Tia's point, right? We do, once you become a celebrity, you do share your life with the world, right? You do share your thought, everything. There's nothing that's private. But there's a fine line when certain information or certain comments are made from someone that you know personally. Now, had this been a fan, or had this been someone who was an employee at that venue that seen it, that's one thing. But we're talking about someone that she has sat down with numerous of times, where there is actually recorded documents and interviews of her asking her about her drug abuse, and Whitney Houston denies it. So that's where my pushback is coming from. Whether she was an addict or not, Gail, Oprah, all of them have sat down with this woman on camera and asked her to her face, and she told them that it was not true. So again, you are going back to rekindle a story based off of the recent passing of Clive Davis, and you bring up Whitney Houston, and then it's something that's not positive. It had nothing to do with nothing. Out of all of the things this woman has done, you mean to tell me this is the only story that you have to put out there? And it's okay when it's celebrities, but when it's our people, then it's a problem. I don't think that that's fair either. I see a lot of people when their loved ones pass away, on social media. No, they aren't celebrities, but you still don't want anyone to share negative things about your family members, especially when they are not here to correct it, confirm it, or deny it. That's more so my stance. I believe in allowing a person to clear the air. There's no way that a person who is deceased can clear the air if you are making allegations against them. They're not here to defend themselves, which makes it unfair. And now you have the ability, again, with someone of that notoriety, to dictate how people view her. Now, for our generation and the generations before us, we're already set in knowing that we love her regardless. But remember that her legacy lives on even for generations after that. And that's the most important thing. As someone who truly believes that legacy is more important than life, when my time comes, I want my legacy to be a certain way, because I have children, because I want the generations that comes after to view me a certain way and know that no matter what I go through, again, whether it's true or not about her addiction, that I still made it to where I made it to. And I don't want anyone who has no reason whatsoever making negative comments that could potentially affect the way that the younger generation view me. There are so many children who can benefit from her story, who can benefit from her gift, just the type of person she was. But if certain narratives are painted, then that begins to allow people of a younger generation to view her in a certain way. And then maybe they don't want nothing to do with her at all. Right. And then maybe the legacy stops. So, again, we have to be very careful when it comes to that. Shout out to Anita Nicole in the chat. She said there are people who are going to talk about people, money or not. It seems like there's no privacy. People being posted on social media without their knowledge. Some people are just messy and nosy. I agree. And just to add to that, right? Why now? Why now? Why wasn't this mentioned when it actually happened? There's a reason. There's a reason why, because when you're looking at the backside of things, we're talking about money. We're talking about estates. If I'm not mistaken, Clive Davis discovered her, which means that he had a huge part in not just her being successful, but her estate, the money that was made after she was gone. Again, looking at the full spectrum of it all. What is the real agenda? What is the agenda? And I'm curious to see how many other people are going to come behind this and either defend this or agree with it. But again, to me, just as the way I grew up, and I know everyone didn't grow up the same way that I did, it's a respect thing, man. You don't mention certain things, especially if there is footage of someone denying it. You don't mention certain things about a person that's not here to defend themselves. It's distasteful, no matter how you put it. And just because she's her does not give her the right to do that. It does not give her the right. Again, my personal opinion, I just cannot condone things of that nature. And I feel like as someone who has friends, girlfriends, I would never do that to my friend. I would never in my life get on a public platform and expose my friend, whether it was true or not. That's just something that I don't believe in. And I don't know what the reason was for, but I can't rock with her on that one. I cannot rock with her on that one. It becomes very tricky when loved ones pass away, especially those who are celebrities, because you have to go through not just the family, but sometimes the family don't necessarily own the estate, or they don't own the music or anything, which means that you have the family story, and then you have the story that the fans think they know, and then you have the story from the estate and the label. It's so many different hands in the pot and so many narratives that are being created all at once, which ultimately to me is unfair to the people who actually are related to her, the ones who was with her day in and day out, the ones who was there when no one else was there. It should be their job. And I'm not saying that all family is right, because we all know that there's been situations with other family members where they have done similar things. But all in all, when you're fighting so many different battles on so many different levels, you just have to be mindful about how you utilize your platform, because it can really damage someone. It can really damage their career. It can damage their legacy. It can damage how their family continues to take care of their family. It has a ripple effect. And it, to me, is just the audacity to sit in front of a microphone and tell the world that this lady fell off the side of the stage because she was high is insane. I don't need no other context surrounding that. I don't need the full story. That was enough for me, because there's nothing that you can come back from with that. I don't care how you try to dress it up or sweeten it up. You said what you said, and now you have to stand on it. So how do we as a people, not even just with celebrities, but how do we as a people protect our legacy? How do we dictate what is said and what's not said, right? And again, just because someone is a celebrity, yeah, they signed up to have their life on display, but at the same time, they're still human. They deserve to have privacy in their life as well. They deserve to keep things to themselves. They deserve to have things that they don't want to be shared. That's called being a human. It doesn't mean because I give my music to the world or my status to the world that I'm allowing people to just say whatever it is that they want to say. And granted, it's hard to stop people from having their own personal opinions, hint, as I have mine. But I'm just saying, be careful about how you utilize your platform, especially Black women, when you're talking about iconic Black women, especially in today's day and age with everything, the climate of this nation and everything that we are facing as Black women. That right there is something that we...
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
$101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct at the American Family Insurance Studio in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. Looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to the Truth in the Morning show with Bailey Coleman and the legendary Homer Blow for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they are located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local businesses in the communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. on the Truth in the Morning show with Bailey Coleman and Homer Blow, powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local businesses. Truth Nation, we are talking legacy and celebrities. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to view the clip the past couple of days with Oprah making a comment about Whitney Houston falling off the side of a stage during her performance because she was high. Who should be responsible for dictating someone's legacy based off of the stories that they have? Should it be the family? Should it be the estate? Should it be the labels? Now let's talk about the fans, because fans are interested in this conversation, right? Fans don't just love artists, they build relationships with them. And when new information comes out, it does not necessarily change the fan, but it changes how the fan feels. It dictates the memory that the fan has of that specific artist. And that's real. I've seen people say, don't tell me anything bad about my favorite artist because I don't want it ruined. But then I've seen others say we deserve to know the full truth. I want to know your thoughts. 833-212-1017. From a fan stance, and not just a fan, meaning someone who just loves music, but these are people who have grown up watching certain people, grown up watching Whitney Houston, grown up. There's artists in the music industry who dictated their careers based off of the inspiration that they received from her, right? So again, what you say matters. She was a role model, a real model. I don't even like the term role model. I feel like Oprah is a role model, but Whitney was a real model. She was authentic. And to, say something of that magnitude that could potentially affect her legacy, especially during a time right now with the political climate when it comes to just black women, not even just in the country, but especially in the music industry. I just think that the timing of that did not make any sense whatsoever. I also don't understand why people choose to wait until someone is no longer with us before they have these conversations. I don't understand, why couldn't this have been said when she was here? It doesn't make any sense to me. In Whitney's era, stories took years to come out. In today's world, is one clip that goes viral and boom, your whole legacy is just at risk. Obviously she has diehard fans. She has people in the industry who will continue to support her. But again, we have to set a better example when it comes to the people who are no longer here with us, and how we protect their legacy, and how we make sure we go out of our way to, have positive things to say about them. It's enough negative things going on in this world today. And I honestly just don't think that should be at the top of the list, especially when we know from watching her biopic and from listening to her loved ones and watching her interviews, all of the things that she faced. She faced so many different things in her life, and we all face demons. Who are we to judge one another? Who are we to put on display what someone else is fighting and what they're going through, whether it is true or not? It's not your business to do so. It's not your business to do so. You made it your business to go out of your way to mention something that had nothing to do with nothing. She fell off the stage because she was high. Okay, let's talk about you and your best friend and your little whole dynamics. Everybody that got secrets always have something to say, man. Like we have to be careful. And again, it doesn't apply to celebrities. It applies to everyday life as well, your loved ones. I don't want anyone talking negative about my loved ones when they are not here, because they are not here to defend themselves. Whatever it is that you feel, keep it to yourself. You don't have to let the world know. You do not have to go out of your way to make sure that you try and quote unquote expose someone, right? For what? What is the purpose? We've seen it so many different times. Look at what's going on with what's her name? Blanket, Michael Jackson's daughter, and how she's fighting the estate and all of the stories and everything. Like, no one ever takes into consideration the family or the people that truly love the ones who are no longer with us when they make these type of comments, you know. And again, someone of that status, for her to get up on a platform, you know, and say what she said is just, it's beyond me. It is beyond me. But I'm convinced that certain people are put in place to make these comments, to disrupt legacies, and they'll continue to be set in place, put in place to cause confusion and division when you look at what's happening behind scenes with people, estates, with their money, with royalties, and with what's owed to them. You know, throughout all of these years, how long? I think Whitney's been going for about 16 years now. This story has never came out. No one has never heard of this story until the day that Clive Davis passed away. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. You know, I can't even imagine how the people that looked up to her, even the younger generation, how they feel about this. I will feel away. I will feel away. I don't want you to, I don't want to unsee the person that I've looked up to my entire life the way that I see them. You know what I mean? I don't want to know certain things about them because I get inspiration from them. They're very impactful. Whatever they deal with in their personal lives has nothing to do with the relationship that the fans have with someone of Whitney's status or her magnitude. She was a gift to the world. Her personality, her spirit, everything. And I didn't even know her personally, but you can look and tell just how she treat people. How she treated people. She treated people with kindness. She treated people as if they were human beings. And she deserves the same respect. So, yeah, I don't know, man. At some point, we got to talk about people like Oprah. You know, we have to. Because I feel like my generation is a little bit different. The one before me, I feel like people are scared to speak out about certain entities and certain types of people because of the power they have and the positions they sit in. Oh, they've been on TV for this long and they did this, and you get a car and you get a car and you get a car. Ain't none of them cars never came over here. Ain't none of them cars in the inner city. So again, everybody gets held accountable. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It does not matter what status you hold. Everybody gets held accountable. And I am so glad that Whitney's family was able to step in and speak up and defend her as they should, because how dare you? How dare you? 833-212-1017. We are talking legacy when it comes to celebrities who should be responsible for telling their stories and dictating their legacy once they pass away. That you have the estate, you have the labels, you have the family, you have the fans, you have so many different people who were a part of just one person's life that feels that they're entitled to do whatever it is that they want to do, say whatever it is that they want to say. And I think that takes the humanity out of things. You know, there was a time where you just didn't do certain things, especially if you know that they have loved ones. But again, we are in a different day and age. And this social media is getting out of hand. These comments is getting out of hand. The viral clips are getting out of hand based off of interviews and conversations. And these people are being paid to make these comments. So let's be clear. They're not just hopping on their own personal social media accounts. Some are, but majority of them are not just hopping on their own social media accounts making these comments. They're getting paid to sit on stage, to sit in front of a camera and actually have these conversations about someone else's business. Someone else's business. They got a deposit, they got the back end, they got flight, they got hotel. Can you imagine that? You get paid all of this money to go on stage to talk about someone who is no longer here, that can't even defend themselves. And if they were, you probably would have not asked that question or said anything pertaining to that while that lady was here. Y'all know how when Whitney get to shaking her wig and them shoulders, she gonna check you. She gonna check you. TT Whitney played no games. Played no games at all. They have to make comments when people are not here because they're afraid to say it when they were here. You know, and again, to me, any black woman who makes a comment like that about someone like a Whitney Houston, you are the problem. You are a part of the propaganda. You are a part of the agenda. You are a part of all of the above. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have, what status you have. You are the problem. And that's my personal opinion. That's how I feel. And I'm standing 10 toes on that. We got to go to break. I want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Do not touch that dial. 101.7 The Truth.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American
Insurance Studio in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. We are talking legacy today. For those who are just joining us, there was a viral clip on social media where Oprah mentioned that Whitney Houston fell off the side of a stage during her performance because she was high. And again, I don't understand the point of that being said. I don't understand why someone who is paid to have an interview, despite of whatever, made that comment. And let's be clear, when we're dealing with celebrities on that level, even some that's not celebrities, when you do interviews, these questions are set ahead of time. 99% of the time, they receive the questions before they even do the interview, which means that they know that this question is going to come up. So they have the ability to either accept or decline that question, which to my knowledge, the way I view it, again, my own personal opinions, she did not do that. She knew that that question was going to be asked and she could have dodged it. She could have said, don't include that inside of it, but it did. Again, she did the complete opposite. And as a black woman, in today's climate, I just cannot wrap my head around why someone would go out of their way to make such a nasty comment. We have a caller on the line. Ron, thank you so much for tapping in with us today.
Thanks for taking my call. I wasn't going to call in, but since I'm a 80s baby and Whitney Houston was a big part of my childhood, I did have to call in. If you are a person who is like a low-life person, rapist, pedophile, stuff like that, then I don't care who tells your legacy. But a person like of Whitney Houston's ilk, I found it very disheartening that Oprah Winfrey would decide to share that non-story with the world, being on her platform. You know, she lost cool points for me back when she did the Michael Jackson interview, where she was presented one way, and then when she put on her show, she made him look like, Martin Bashir,
Absolutely.
A person who was guilty. She lost respect from me and all my family members, and we was a big Oprah Winfrey fan, being that she had some roots here in Milwaukee. So I just found that you're not getting any cool points with trying to knock on Whitney Houston. She wasn't perfect. Nobody is. But like you said, the legacy that she left and the inspiration she left for young boys and girls, and it seemed like to me that was really cheap. And honestly, I wish they would do her biopic over, because compared to Temptations and New Edition, they left a lot on the table with this beautiful, wonderful woman who was here on earth and spread her gifts. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ryan. And I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that is very distasteful. And again, we all, coming from if you're a black person, our community, we face many challenges, right? Addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, we have been faced with many challenges. And when it comes to someone attempting to exploit someone else's issue, not even knowing what she went through, whether it's true or not, you don't understand what happened to her, what prompted her to be this way. Again, allegedly, not speaking just specifically to that situation at the event, but just whatever it was that she was doing in her own personal time that was not bothering nobody. I don't condone it, but again, we all go through things. And to utilize a moment or to feel entitled and to attempt to capitalize off of a moment like that, when you could have said something far more greater, out of all of the things she did, to me, just displays your character. That's a character flaw. It no longer becomes about status. It no longer becomes about friendship or any of that. That is a character flaw. That means you are bought and paid for. That means that you are going to get on that stage and do whatever possible to make sure that you are a part of the propaganda and the agenda at hand. And to the caller Ron's point, she did the same thing with Michael Jackson. The same exact thing with Michael Jackson. And then when she doesn't want to do something, she sends her best friend to go do the dirty work too. I mean, the history consistently repeats itself. So at what point now I pose a different question. Do we take people like this, like what they say, as validity? Is what she say valid? Does her opinion even matter? Does her stories even matter? To me, it does not. It no longer holds weight. I don't care what Oprah Winfrey has to say any longer, because to me, she is a part of the problem. That is my personal opinion. That has nothing to do with Truth Nation. That's about me. I just feel like people like that are a part of the problem. They'll always be a part of the problem, especially when you have gone through so many things and so many challenges to keep a legacy protected, to keep a legacy alive, right? We're talking about over 40 years of not just great music, but over 40 years of a legacy. And it's sad to see that one clip can go viral when Whitney, she hasn't even been in the headlines. No one's been talking about anything. And again, like, we've seen memes, we've seen the reality show with her and her ex-husband. We've seen all of these things throughout the years. And guess what? The diehard Whitney fans, it does not faze us. You know why? Because we have family members who are just like her. Or we know somebody who has a family member that is just like her. And Oprah comes from, she grew up in Milwaukee. Her mother went to the church in the neighborhood I grew up on, 14th and Burleigh. She was a young prostitute, allegedly. Her and Gil just swinging that wagon back and forth all up and down Burleigh. And you got the nerves to sit here and talk about somebody falling off the stage because they high? Come on, man. Let's talk about it. We don't want to just hear about the relationship with your mother and all of the things your mother did. What was you doing out there in these streets on Burleigh, Oprah? Huh? Back in the 80s. What was you and Gil doing? Y'all, you want to get on here and talk about everybody else? What was y'all doing? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your legacy. Leave Whitney alone, plain and simple. We will not tolerate any Whitney Houston hate from anybody whatsoever. She has done so much for our community. She has done so much for, as far as impacting people and just being her authentic self. And to me, she does not deserve that. She did not deserve that at all. She's put in a lot of work, man, and she's shown us otherwise. And again, I don't know if what happened at that event is true. Her family has went public by saying that it's not true, you know. So I don't know, but all in all, I just think that with everything that we're dealing with, that was just not at the top of the to-do list. There's so many other things that we could be focused on, so many positive things we could be doing to lift up someone's legacy. That right there is just not one of them, man. It's not. And I know I'll catch a lot of slack, but guess what? I don't care. I don't care, because someone has to start calling this stuff out, man. Right? The new generation is coming up, and everything, if we're not responsible for how they view the people that came before us, then the legacy stops, the inspiration stops, the impact stops. That's why legacy is more important. That's why legacy is important. If we don't stand up and start holding people accountable, and again, this is something that's minute, but there are far more, bigger stories out there where people are literally going out of their way to attack someone's legacy without any regards to their families, to their loved ones, to the work that they put in, to the demons they face, to the addictions, to the challenges. They still manage to maneuver through it. There's so many people who go through these things, and all it takes is for one woman or one man to sit on stage to get paid to say whatever it is to discredit that person's legacy, man. That's not cool. That's not cool. That's not anything that I would ever support. And, as of today, I'm over it. I don't want to, going forward, I don't want to hear certain things from certain people anymore, because I've seen them do it too many times. They consistently attack those who they know have the biggest inspiration when it comes to not just my generation, but even the generation that's coming up, man. And to the average person, again, we had Tia, shout out to our caller earlier, Tia. She said that she believes people who are famous, celebrities, that their life is open to the public, so nothing is off limits. And, I can't knock her for that. I can't fight her on that. But my pushback would be, she's still human. They are still human. They still go through things. They still have people who love them, who cares about them. So it makes it a little difficult for me to be okay with, making comments or listening to comments like that. And also, too, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. I feel like we spend too much time in celebrities' business. We spend too much time worried about what they got going on, but we ain't even got our stuff together. There's no reason why we should be so focused on the negative. And the way that clip blew my mind because, again, marketing, conspiracy theories. This is where the conspiracy theory come in at. It is not a coincidence to me that this came out the same day that Clive Davis passed away. It's not a coincidence. It's like people went out of their way to make sure that this comment was made about her legacy, not about all the other artists that he assisted, not about any of the other artists that he worked with, but for whatever reason, this comment had to be made specifically about Whitney Houston. So, as a diehard Whitney Houston fan, any negative comments about her will not be tolerated. No Whitney Houston hate will be tolerated. I don't care if she was on drugs. I don't care if she wasn't. It doesn't matter. That's TT Whitney, and she is off limits, and we will not tolerate that hate. Okay? We're about to start canceling people around here. It's getting real. Watch your mouth when you talk about people and their legacy. Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
We're not playing these games anymore. They did it with Mike. They did it with Prince. They did it with Tupac. They did it with so many people. Now they're doing it to Whitney. Now they are doing it to Whitney. And they're going to continue to do it to the people that came after them, which is why I'm so adamant and passionate about this topic, because I just want our people to understand, not even just pertaining to celebrities, but for yourself, for your family. What is your legacy? How do you want to be remembered? Are you okay if someone gets up there and paint this picture of you, knowing that you may have children, you have loved ones, you have family in general who are watching, who are listening, who are part of your legacy, right? Because somebody is shaping every legacy that you've ever believed in. And the question is, are you aware of who it is? Are you aware of who's going to be the person to represent your legacy when it's time for you to go? And if you are you positive that they're going to do it the correct way? 101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct at the American Family Insurance Studio in the heart of beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Truth Nation. We got a special guest in the building. Sawyer, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for tapping in with us today.
No doubt.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed. It's Thursday, almost the end of the week, so I'm feeling good.
That's right. That's right. So we were talking role models, legacy, all of the above. We're going to kind of dig into that. But before we get there, I just want the world to know who you are, our listeners. Not just career, but where you come from.
Well, I was born and raised here in Milwaukee, on the east side of Milwaukee.
East.
Yeah. I did a lot of stuff in the community growing up as a kid, and it just transformed over to me being an adult now. I've lived in a few other places, but I always made sure they knew where I was from. And I always locked in with it. Anywhere I went, it was crazy. It was like a magnet. I'm from Milwaukee. They're like, oh, I'm from Milwaukee, or I know somebody from Milwaukee. So that was a dope experience. But I lived in California for a few years, lived in Texas for a few years, and then I've been back here for about 6 years now.
So what is it that you do? How did you start? How did your journey start in the career that you're in?
Well, initially, I always loved music. My mom did music growing up. I used to go to watch her perform. So I'm still an artist. I'm a singer. But just me being popular and a lot of people knowing me, once I got a little older, I just had one of my homies that I went out with a lot. He was a promoter for parties and stuff. So he was like, one day he was like, bro, everybody know you. Most people come here and say they're here for you. So you want to promote? I'm like, I guess. I mean, I get in free and I get to get paid to kick it. He like, yeah. So I started doing that. I thinking about like 2018, and I've been going hard in that ever since then. To the point now, I'm like, I'm my own. I was working under him at first, and now I'm working for myself. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. On the side, I'm still doing music, and I do a lot of community work. I work for a nonprofit called Black Men Build. Where I was working with them, and now I'm getting ready to start my own. So I do that as well, and we hold healing circles every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, and we do community cleanups. We knock on doors when election time come around. Anything we could do to help the community.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Lanisha, man. Shout out to Nisha.
Yeah.
They be out here doing the work. So, is there a specific reason why you pivoted from doing music full time into community work, or has it always been just the two, like you balancing and pivoting between the two?
Well, with music, it's almost like I got two different lives. So when I'm in music, it's like I'm a celebrity, but then I still go back to even when I was growing up, I always was in the community trying to help and do whatever I could. I remember when I was a kid in the hoods, they used to have certain days that the OGs would be like, we cleaning up on a Sunday morning, and then so it just translated over to my adulthood.
It was instilled in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just natural.
Absolutely. So we know now. Well, now I know. I got a call from Dr. Biko Baker earlier. Shout out to Biko. He was putting me on some of your music. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from Biko?
I've learned a lot from Biko.
Or one that stick out, yeah.
The biggest one is don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Mm. What does that mean to you?
It mean a lot. I mean, never forget who helped you along the way. When you make it to where you want to be, don't say you did it on your own.
Yeah.
And always remember who helped you so you could look out for them when they need your help.
Absolutely. So as we're sitting here discussing not just your career, but also the work that you do in the community, to me that sounds like you are on the path or have been on the path of becoming what they considered as a role model, but I like to say a real model, because a real model is more authentic. We're not perfect, right? How important is it to you, the way that your community views you, not just as an artist, but just as a man?
It's real important, especially with me being out in the community a lot, not just in the streets, but in clubs. And a lot of the young dudes that gravitate towards me, I like to invite them to positive things other than just inviting them to the clubs and stuff, just to try to change their view and try to just spark something in their mind, just to try to change their life. So it's real important on how people view me. I don't want people to think he just a party promoter. He like the club and drink and kick it. But I like people to see who I am when I'm not out in the club. So it's real important.
How do you get the young men who are not there yet mentally, as far as understanding the importance of being a part of the community? How do you get them to transition over to that?
I give them the option, but it's they naturally graduate. They naturally just come to me. They don't come to me with questions, but they just like to be around me. I get DMs out of nowhere like, bro, I'm happy I met you. You kind of changed my perspective. I had a DM the other day. He's like, bro, just keep your little bros in check, and whatever you got going on, make sure we there.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty much how I do it. I don't really just ask like, yo, I got this going on. I'll post it and see who might like it. And then if they like it, then hey, bro, you and a couple of your guys come through if y'all want to. And it might take a couple times, but eventually they'll come, and then they be happy. Like, bro, I'm glad I came.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is it like a struggle to get them to be consistent when you have these type of events?
For a few of them it is, but for most of them, they'll be, when they finally come, they like, I'm coming to the next one. I'm coming to the next one. But some, a lot of them, they be having stuff going on. They got kids, so they might come for maybe like 30 minutes, or maybe they can't make it, but they'll come to a few every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think that more artists should, be involved in the community more, and then also utilize their platform and influence to do what you're doing, which is to take the young men and young ladies over into the community?
Yeah, I think that's a real big part of God blessing you with the influence that, I mean, I know he didn't think this world was going to be like this, but now he going to use us to help fix it, or at least try to fix it. So, and even if I can't get it done while I'm here, I want to be able to leave something behind that could that can maybe spark a kid years from now to finish what I'm doing. So at least be able to install that in their brains and be like, I'm gonna finish what Big Bro's doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as someone who was a former artist and active in the community, I completely understand. It is a balance. It's a tough balance in the beginning because you have to. I think for me, it was like, I didn't want to make the music that I was telling my people not to do.
Right.
You know, so that was my confliction to the point where I just stopped doing music completely because I didn't want to be a walking contradiction.
I hear
right.
that a lot.
But also, the challenges of allowing the people that you're around to see you in a new light. Like, has that been difficult for you along the way? Like, obviously it's been instilled in you. Obviously those who know you know that this is what you do. But for the new people that you meet, has it been difficult for you to play both of these roles where it's like, I'm an artist, but I'm also a community activist?
It hasn't been hard. It's been a little, it's kind of like they think I'm wearing a mask because they see me more, you know, out in the clubs and partying and kicking it, and maybe doing things I shouldn't be sometimes. Yeah. But then when they see me post something positive, they might not know right away if it's like genuine. They might be like, he just doing that for the look or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a look though.
Yeah. When did you? So you mentioned that, you know, there were you had men around when you were younger who helped instill certain characteristic traits in you as far as cleanup, just community in general. When did you realize that character mattered just as much as your talent?
I don't know. I think it was natural. I knew that if I wanted people to like me and gravitate towards me, I had to first of all be true to myself and also make sure that I'm somebody that people want to be around. So I had to make myself valuable. I had to make myself easy to be around, and that's pretty much how it worked out for me.
Yeah, I think that a lot of artists should probably it should be like a part of the artist development piece where they should be required to do something in the community before they even get to doing the music part. I don't know. It's tough, but I commend you on that for real because a lot of people don't understand. The more you are inside of your community, no matter what you do on the outside with your music, the more people you're able to pull over and to, you know, get on board. As far as the youth and people that you are around, just society, do you feel like we're creating more role models or personalities?
Probably personalities with the social media.
Yeah.
Because people get to see more now what they want to be, and that's the way they'll act, and they get to see it in 4K, how they favorite celebrity act or whoever they look up to, and then they'll take on that personality.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the word role model. I say real model, but I don't even know if that's like a thing anymore.
Role models?
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, me growing up, my first role model was my older brothers and my dad, and I know a lot of kids don't really grow up with a father like that. So, but they always can find somebody that they look to as a father figure. But my first real model was my pops and my older brother. So I took a lot from my dad. I think I get just me wanting to help everybody so much, like just me wanting to help so much that I get that from my dad. My dad would pull over on the side of the road and help you push your car or fix your tire. And he ain't even got to know you.
Yeah.
So I got that from him, just seeing him doing that.
So reflecting back, when you talk about having that type of representation in your life, thinking back to when you were younger, do you recall how that made you feel in that moment to see him, you know, do things like that?
Yeah, it really made me feel like I was obligated to do it. I was happy to get out and help. Whatever he did, I was down to do it. So I knew he wasn't gonna have me do nothing wrong. So I'm like, this how you supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, we go outside and shovel our front sidewalk, and then he'll go to the neighbor if they ain't did theirs yet. He'll do the whole block if he get the chance to. So
yeah.
If we hear a car stuck in the middle of the street in the middle of the night, he getting up to go help. So and then he come wake me up. So I was, come on, we about to go help. I'm like, all right.
So now, full circle moment with the young man that you are reaching back to or was with Black Men Build and the other things that you do outside of that. Do you now see the impact that you're leaving on them similar to the impact that your dad left on you?
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And it's easy. It's not, I don't even try.
Yeah.
I just basically just just be myself around them, and they catch on to it.
It's a part of you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do not touch that dial. We got to go to break. We want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. 101.7 The Truth.
Make your home and family safer by properly getting rid of nasty chemicals and fire hazards.
Honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler Digi Meech. We are live and direct. We have a special guest in the building. It is going down. So we were talking about earlier about real models, role models, all of the work that you do inside of the community. But now I want to touch into the music piece. And it's important for, our listeners and just listeners around the nation to understand who you are as a person first. But I know you got some dope joints. So I want to touch into the music industry. I know you mentioned earlier how you started out, but do you mind just digging a little bit deeper on what that journey was like in the process?
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm a singer now. I started out a rapper because both of my brothers was rappers. And I just, like I said, he was one of my role models. So I wanted to be just like him. So I started off as a rapper, I would say about 7. He was writing my raps for me. And I was just going, putting on little concerts in the house for my parents. And then he ended up passing away. And I ended up being in a space where I had to figure out who I really was and who I wanted to be. So it took a while, but I ended up meeting one of my good friends, Jacob Lattimore from Milwaukee. And he was singing. He was a superstar at a young age. So I'm like, let me try that. So, and I didn't even know I could sing. But my mom was a singer, so I tried it, and I could sing. So that's when I started singing. And I was doing talent shows throughout the city growing up. And I went to Milwaukee High School of the Arts, so I could really learn music, learn how to read, play music, and I was in the choir, learning how to sing different languages and stuff like that. And then I did a talent show. I think it was my senior year, and it was with Jazzy Faye, and he was coming to be a judge. I didn't know what I was gonna get from him, but we did it, and we didn't win. Me and my homie, we didn't win, but he came up to us afterwards, and he was like, I didn't think I was gonna see nothing. They were just paying me to come here, but I messed with y'all. So just a long story short, he flew us out to Atlanta. We met with him. He gave us a contract. We wasn't old enough yet to sign it, so we had to take our parents. Ended up not being a good contract, so we turned away. But Biko ended up sending us out to California, and it just went up from there. I ended up meeting a lot of good people, a lot of big people in the industry, and I ran into Jazz Prince. He's a guy that his dad runs rap a lot in Houston. And he discovered Drake, so I ran into him, and he took me under his wing, and that's one of my biggest role models right now. I was just watching him, watching how he maneuvered, look at what he did. I mean, he found one of the biggest artists in the world, and he introduced me to so many people, and and from there, it just went up. I mean, I still got fans from California asking me where I'm at. So that's pretty much my journey in a small nutshell, for real.
So take us through the timeline. When was this? When did this take place, as far as like the year with the talent show? And then how long did it take for you to actually get to the Jazzy Faye, fly out to Jazzy Faye, and then on to?
So the talent show had to be in 2012, I believe. It was called Too Much Talent. We had been doing this. We had been winning this talent show for like a year, to the point where we couldn't even compete no more. But they had they gave us the opportunity to perform for Jazzy Faye. They said this time, because at that time it was just like it was some nice names. They had like Chad C. Note Roper judging it. It had Reggie Brown, a couple DJs. But this time they said we got Jazzy Faye coming. I think it was Waka Flocka's mom, which is his manager. Yeah, so they came, and they really took heed to us, and probably we had lost contact. We had a manager at the time that I don't know what happened, but we lost contact with Jazzy Faye. So I'm on Twitter. I'm in my room. I'm about to graduate high school. I'm DMing him on Twitter like every night. And one day he wrote me back like, "What up, man? I've been looking for y'all." This probably was about 4 or 5 months later. "I've been looking for y'all. What happened? Where y'all at?" I'm like, "We've been looking for you too. Like, you said you was gonna fly us out." And he's like, "Man, I'm trying to see y'all ASAP." So I hit my older sister up, because she the oldest out of all of us. I got 7 brothers and 2 sisters, and she's just like real savvy when it comes to business. So I hit her up, like, "What should I do?" She got the contact, and they flew us out probably within like a a week or so. They flew us out. We performed for his team. They liked us. And like right there on the spot, he's like, I want to sign y'all. Like y'all got, and that was back when they still put you through like artist development and camps.
Yeah.
He like, of course we gonna put y'all through artist development. We gonna sharpen y'all up, and then we gonna put y'all out to the world. And I'm like, all right, bet. But long story short, I guess the lawyer said that the contract wasn't a good deal, and my sister was just like, well, we ain't gonna do it. So that's just how that happened. And then we came back home, and that's when Biko really took us under his wing. He was taking us to South by Southwest. Send us on our own little tours. We would get in a rental car and he'd just send us off. We'd be going to Houston, Alabama, Atlanta, just doing different shows with other artists from those cities. And then that was probably, I would say like 2013, maybe like a year later, 2013 or 2014. And then it came to the point where we was like, we ready to go.
Yeah.
Because like, all right, he set us up with a producer out in L.A., gave us some money, got us a rental car. I drove my car out there. We drove 33 hours all the way to California. And we ran into some problems out there. Came down to the point where I was basically living in my car, and me and my guy had split up because he knew some people that I didn't know. So I was on my own, and I started meeting people.
Yeah.
And I met a guy out there. And one day, I'm like, where you going? He like, I'm about to go to Jazz Prince. I was at that point, I didn't know who Jazz Prince was. Like, you want to come with me? I'm like, yeah. So we go over there, and Jazz Prince wasn't there. He was actually on the road with Drake, but it was all these other kids there that was the same age as me, and they was artists. So we was just making music for like a week or two. And I was spending the night. I was sleeping in the studio. He had a studio at the house. And one day he came home, and I'm just sitting in the studio. They playing music, and he just looked like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Sawyer. Everybody like, that's Sawyer. He make music. Let me hear something. So I play one song. He like, let me hear something else. Play another one. He like, all right. So then I was sitting on the couch, and he like, where you live at? I'm like, man, I ain't got nowhere to live. He like, man, pick a room.
Yeah.
He had all these rooms in his house, and he like, just pick one. So from there on, I was living. I was living with him for the rest of my time in California, which was like 4 or 5 years. So that's how that happened. And then we never initially signed anything, but whenever I had anything come across the table, I would take it to him because he knew what he was doing. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And he introduced me to everybody, like the biggest names in the industry that you can think of. I've been with them before.
So, what did you learn from? Well, obviously, you went through something that a lot of artists don't go through at such a young age, which is experiencing what a valid contract is and what a BS contract is. Right. What is a takeaway, the main takeaway that you got from the contract that was initially presented that did not serve you any purpose?
Just make sure that you know the business and not just the music, first of all, or you got somebody on your side that know what they're doing. And don't let nobody take advantage of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's dope when stories like this happen. It's a testament of how bad you want it, as well as deceit. You're presented with something, and either you're going to take it just because you're so thirsty to have it,
right,
or you're going to wait until what's for you comes. Right. And it sounds like you made the right decision by, waiting.
Yeah, I didn't really know what was bad about the contract. I didn't know anything about contracts and stuff, but I trusted the lawyer that we had, and I trusted the people I took down there with me. So, I mean, now that I'm older, I know what kind of contract it was, and it's not a good contract. So, I'm glad that I didn't do it.
So when you out in L.A., you with Jazz Prince, you at, making music. What happens? Like, now, L.A. is a different culture, a different, everything.
Yeah. Right?
It's similar to us a little bit. I know, like, back in the 90s, we had a lot of similarities with how we dress, the music we listen to. But what was it like just being there? Someone coming from Milwaukee, going out there and experiencing LA for the first time.
It was amazing to me. Like, even though, like I said, even when I was living in my car, I wasn't sad. I wasn't depressed. Like, I'm in LA. I'm waking up the sun every day, and I'm out here where people are made. Where people make themselves stars. So I loved it. I was still young enough to be in the community. Like, it was to the point where it was just like I am here. I would be going to certain parties, and I would see people I seen at the last party, or they'll see me or invite me to certain things. And I started meeting different promoters. So it was like, LA is big, but it's the community is small too. So I met a lot of people really fast. And on top of that, like I said, I had a lot of older people out there that was from Milwaukee that was producers and artists and writers and stuff like that too. So I would link with them. It was a great experience for me. It really opened my eyes. I got to see a lot of things that you don't see here, as far as just like millionaires every day, big houses, nice cars. People really like in the work ethic. Like me coming from Milwaukee, like I said, I was winning contests all over the city, and I thought I was the best. But when I got out there, it was kids my age just going way harder, like way better. And I'm like, all right, I really got to work harder.
Yeah.
It was a real big eye opener for me. But it's definitely a place that you can go. It's gonna make or break you, and you gotta just be strong, and you gotta be determined if that's really what you want.
I do believe anybody that that's come from Milwaukee can make it anywhere. We just have a certain type of grind.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you mentioned what you mentioned. I work with a lot of youth, and they listen. And one of the things I try to get them to understand is like, you have to step outside of here, because what's in Milwaukee, what you do in Milwaukee is just like,
it's gonna box you in.
It is. And the reality is, as to what you said, going out there, you were able to see like it's so much that I have to go up against. But it's a matter of, are you gonna stand 10 toes in it, or are you gonna fold? You know? So that's an amazing story though. How do you feel about the state of music now? Like, does the industry make you want to still be a part of the industry, or do you feel like not so much?
You mean in Milwaukee or just worldwide?
Just worldwide.
I love the music. I always hear great music. I hear a lot of underground artists that's dope. And I know it's harder now for good musicians to get on, because that's really not what not everybody, kind of want to hear. But I love watching all the underground artists, and I think it's in a good state. I mean, people make bad music, but it is what it is. For them, if it's working, it's working. But I like where it's at right now.
Absolutely.
Especially
We got Sawyer in the building. We want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Do not touch that dial. We got to go to break. 101.7 The Truth.
At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. We got Sawyer in the building. We are talking career in music. Now, I have to ask you this question, because this is always a debate. And as a diehard R&B fan, I just have to know, do you believe that R&B still exists to this day?
Yeah, I believe it exists. I believe the real R&B is gonna make a comeback real soon. Like you said earlier, you feel like people get it mixed up between pop and real R&B. So the real R&B, I think is gonna come back. You got new artists. So my guy Tone Stiff, he was in the house with me at Jazz Prince. I don't know if you ever heard of Tone Stiff, but he bringing it back. You got like the new guy Jadon, that got signed to Usher. I feel like he a good artist, a good R&B artist. Like Leon Thomas, dope.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of other young new artists that's trying to bring it back, and they going hard. It's to the point now where we had to make our own community. It used to just be like R&B, like just a genre, but now it's like they coming stronger, and they got to stick together. So they doing their own tours, own podcasts, they doing their own sessions, stuff like that. So I think it's gonna come back strong pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope so, because I would really love to see the younger generation get to experience what it's like to actually like a girl or a boy, and like sing
and
about
really
it.
Sing to her.
Yeah, like it's okay to love. Like it is okay to love. Out of all of the people that you work with throughout the industry, who is one of your fave collabs or producers?
I don't really work with a lot of producers. I think my favorite person I work with probably would be Tone.
Yeah.
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 Because me and him, we was living in the same house, so we was working with each other, helping each other, teaching each other different things, and we made projects together, helped writing and stuff like that. He done wrote a lot of stuff for Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Different artists. So I think probably him. That's my brother.
So what is your process like as an artist? Like, how do you get into, like, okay, example, when I used to record, I used to rap. When I used to record, I didn't like a lot of people in the studio with me, because unless I was making like a party song. What tone do you set to get in mode to where you like, okay, I'm gonna write a hit today, but I need to have this, and it needs to go this way in order for me to write the right song?
Yeah. So I record myself. I don't like people being around when I'm recording. I don't even like having an engineer. I turn the lights off. I might set a candle. I might burn some sage, and I just get in the mode. I even turn the light down on the computer screen just so it's like it feel like it's just me. But I like to record alone though. I like when I have an engineer that know what he's doing and he can give me different harmonies and tell me where I messed up at. Cause sometimes I might go back and listen to something that I'm like, I got to re-record that. But if I got an engineer, he would have told me out the gate, you got to record that. So. But yeah, for the most part, I like doing everything on my own.
Absolutely. So you mentioned earlier how impactful and important your father was to you, but I also heard you mention that your mom was a singer.
Mm-hmm.
How influential was she when it comes to your career and just you wanting to be a singer overall?
Super influential because I used to watch her and her. She was in a group. She was in a group, and I used to watch them rehearse at the house. I used to go to her rehearsal sometime and see all the equipment and stuff, and I would see them getting ready to leave to go perform.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, I thought she was famous. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to be famous too then. So I was just watching her do that, and like I said earlier, I did go to a couple of her shows, and I got to see her perform. It was tight. So I really wanted to be famous like her.
Yeah, I miss those days when we could put groups together, like singing groups. You know,
she was the. I think it was like 3 or 4 men and two women. So they was doing harmonies and everything. It was dope.
That's fire. Who were some of the biggest influential people in the industry that inspired you, maybe intentionally or unintentionally growing up? Like, who was some of the artists that you listened to?
Definitely listened to Chris Brown. Usher was my favorite growing up, even before Chris Brown came out. My mom used to have me listen to like the Gap Band and stuff like that, Luther Vandross. So I was listening to them. When I linked up with Jacob, he was so big on Michael Jackson and Prince and the Temptations. So we was in New Edition. So we was watching all of them videos and trying to dance and stuff like them. So it's a lot. And as far as rappers, man, I really like 50 Cent, not just because his music, but his mindset, his business mindset really sparked me. So, and of course Drake, because I was around him a lot growing up too. So
Absolutely. So do you miss rapping? Do you kind of rap a little bit sometimes?
If I hear the right beat, it ain't hard for me to put some rhymes together. But I don't never say I'm about to go make a rap song. But if the beat come on and it's more so of me, even just like melodic rapping, I'll do that for sure.
So I want to ask you this. I work for a nonprofit called Notes for Notes, right? So I teach, I'm the lead producer and educator at Howard Fuller High School. So we teach students how to make music and we help them make music, right? And I have majority like young ladies that sing, a couple young ladies that sing, but not really the guys. What is it that we can do as a society to kind of pique the interest for the youth to want to partake in R&B? It's a lot of young men that know how to sing.
Yeah.
That know they know how to sing, but they may not feel like they can be themselves as an R&B artist. What advice do you have for them?
They just gotta look at the artists that came before them. Look at the influence they got. I mean, everybody wanna get to the girls. If you can sing, the girls gonna come.
Clock that.
especially if you really could sing. It's crazy because me and Nisha was just talking maybe a few months ago. We was handing out food at Atkinson Park to the homeless, and I told her, I said, I want to get like 3 or 4 young dudes that could really sing and put them together as a group and really just make them like superstars in Milwaukee, kind of like they was doing with Jacob when he was a kid. And she was like, I've been thinking about that. So I feel like I'm not sure you could just show them them maybe other kid artists when they was kids. I mean, like even if you show them like Sammy or something, like Sammy when he was a kid, he was doing it.
Yeah, he was. We had a lot of kid youth entertainers, back then. Moving into the Milwaukee scene more, one of the topics that artists we typically talk about or discuss is the lack of support. Do you feel like your city has supported you in your career this far?
So it's like 50-50. I know a lot of people know that I'm good at it and they know I can do music, but it's also on the artist part too, because if they don't believe that you really serious about it, they ain't gonna push it. You kind of got to make them support you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you feel like, well, based off what you shared as far as people like Biko, we know that Biko is real dope when it comes to pulling you know, young people close to him to make sure that they succeed. Do you feel like you had the right people and the right team around you when it came time for you to become an artist, the more you maneuver through the industry? And how important is it to have the right people around you?
Yeah, when I had Biko on my team, for sure, I had everything I needed. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without Biko. It's real important to have the right team around you, because like right now, I don't really got a team. I got people that support me. I ain't got a team. You really can't do too much by yourself. You gotta have people that specialize in different things on your team for you to be successful. Even if you need somebody running your social media, a publicist, A&R, whatever, a manager, whatever, you gotta have a strong team behind you really to be successful. So it's definitely real important to have a team behind you and somebody that believe in you sometimes more than you believe in yourself, for real.
Absolutely. So are you heading back into the music full time?
Yeah, I'm still dropping music. I got I've been dropping music every few months. I think the last song I dropped was on Valentine's Day, maybe. And I think that was Teach You How to Love. I got 2 new singles that I'm planning on dropping maybe in July and in September, and then I think I'm gonna do a whole project probably in October.
A whole album or like an EP?
Probably an album.
What you gonna call it?
I haven't dropped an album. I haven't dropped an album in a long time. I was thinking, I got a few different names. I'm not sure yet though, but I'm leaning towards Blocked. It's called, because I got a song that's gonna be on there called Blocked, and I just feel like the season that I was in when I was making certain songs, that I was getting blocked from a lot of different blocked from certain good blessings, and I was getting blocked from going down the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to the role model piece. I want to ask you this because of the work that you do. Do you feel like you're a real model for the youth?
Yeah, for sure.
And do you feel like there are certain things you have to go through in order to become that?
Yeah, you got to go through trials and tribulations. I always say, like when I was growing up, my dad would tell me certain things and I wouldn't understand it, and then I understood it years later after I went through it. So you got to go through things to fully understand stuff. Even like my little brothers and other kids that I talk to, I tell them stuff that I went through and what not to do and why not to do it, but I still watch them bump their head.
Yeah.
And then they be like, "Oh, that's what you was talking about." I'm like, "Yeah." So you got to go through things just to really fully understand.
Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure being a role model?
Sometimes, especially if it come down to somebody that you really care about and you watching them go down the wrong path, you trying to help them not, but they don't want to, or they don't want to listen, or they kind of just like stop talking to you for a while. But they always come back around though, especially if they know that you're always gonna be there and you always mean well.
Absolutely. What is some of the best advice that you've received, like as just from whether it's music, from the work you do in the community overall, outside of the advice that Biko gave you? Is there anything else?
It's one quote that I always live by.
Or not. You can take a picture, or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Can you make it go boom like a 808? When we in this room, talk a good game, let me see you now. Show me what it do. Guess it cheap so free, can you be my freak and let me slide through? Ooh.
101.7 The Truth, it's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. We got a special guest in the building. Sawyer is here. We're talking community. We're talking music. We're talking legacy, right? Let's get into some fun questions, okay? I'm a huge fan of R&B. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think, are you a 90s R&B fan?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to test it out and see. Who is the king of R&B?
R. Kelly.
Okay. Who is the queen of R&B?
I'm not sure. Would you put Whitney Houston there?
I think Whitney would be pop. Okay. I would say Mary.
Mary?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, I would say Mary for sure. Boyz II Men or Jodeci?
Boys and Men.
Maxwell or D'Angelo? That's a hard one. Are you choosing Maxwell? Well, yeah, Maxwell, he got range.
Yeah, that's why.
He got range for sure. Earth, Wind, and Fire or Frankie, Beverly, and Maze?
Earth, Wind, and
Fire. I can see that. Okay. I can see that. All right. So, what project do you have currently as far as, do you have a single you're about to drop or you just dropped one?
I'm trying to decide which one I want to drop. I did just drop one maybe a few months ago called Top 10, but I got a new one called Pages, and I got another one called We'll Be All Right, and I'm trying to see which one do I want to drop first because it's about to be the summertime, and these super R&B songs, so they like slow, and I don't really want to drop a slow song in the summertime.
Yeah.
I usually wait for the fall to do the slow stuff, but I got to drop something, so.
So talk to us about those two singles. What is the songs about, and what is it about you being confused on which one to drop? They both must be super dope if you can't decide.
Yeah, so Pages is basically about me and the girl, maybe that I was dating or that I'm with, or I broke up with her or we broke up and we just weren't on the same page. But I'm trying to get back on the same page. So basically, it's like we in different chapters of our life, but I'm searching and I'm trying to get to the chapter. She a couple chapters ahead of me. So maybe at the time when we was together, I was on some BS, and now I'm ready to do right. And then We'll Be All Right. It's basically still talking to her, just basically telling her whatever we go through, we'll be okay. We'll get back on the right page.
I like that. Can we drop that? Take a listen to that song. I like that. You want to introduce it?
Wait, which one?
No, they not out yet.
The same.
I have two of them, but I don't think it was any of them that he said.
What songs you got?
What songs you got for
Get
us?
Myself With You, and then the one that I just played with Ray, hashtag TYT.
Yeah, Biko must have sent those. I'm like 10 years old.
Tunes. Yeah, Biko just texted them to me.
Okay. You can drop "Get Myself With You." That's a pop song that I did when I was in California. So, and it was way out of my league back then. But you can drop that. That's "Get Myself With You." It's like a song that's like when you wake up, you just get ready.
Let's get it.
You know what you like, to always be on your own, 'cause you're afraid to try something else. You gotta get up, babe, you gotta get up, baby. Ooh, ow, you know what I want. You gotta get up, come on, gotta get up, come on now. Ooh, ow, you know what I want. You gotta get up, come on, you gotta get up. Won't you be my baby? You simply amaze me. Don't know what you're waiting on. It'll be your gravy. Won't you be my baby? You simply amaze me. Don't know what you're waiting on. Oh, when I get myself with you, come on, get myself with you. You like me? Get myself with you, with you, with you. Get myself with you, with you, with you. Always on the run. You hate that confrontation. It's okay to have fun. You need some conversation. It could be great. Someone I met the best. You gotta get up, babe. You gotta get up, babe. Ooh, ow, you know what I want. You gotta get up, come on. Gotta get up, come on now. Ooh, ow, you know what I want. You gotta get up, come on. You gotta get up. Won't you be my baby? You simply amaze me. Don't know what you're waiting on. It'll be your gravy. Won't you be
That was "Get Myself With You" by Sawyer. Listen, first of all, you did not let us know. I feel deprived because you talk about the R&B, but I didn't know you could do the pop thing too.
Go. Okay, that was a song I did when I was in California, and one of my guys had that song written already. I didn't write that song. My guy Pay Attention, he a producer out there. He do a lot of stuff with Chris Brown, but he had that written already, and he produced it. And he was like, "You want to do this song?" I'm like, "Yeah." And that was my first time. That wasn't my first time doing pop, but that was my first time doing a pop song that good though.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a summer song. It sounds like something that you can play at a pool party in Cali.
Yeah.
Like it has vibes for sure. Do you like either genre better? Do you like R&B better than pop, or?
I naturally just sing R&B, but I like doing different genres though and challenging myself though.
Yeah.
Pop cool though. I like pop.
Yeah, that song it feels like you can get so many placements with that joint.
You can do movies with that.
Absolutely.
All type of stuff.
Yeah. So the other song you mentioned, you said that you have 2 songs that you were thinking about putting out, one of the other. Can you tap into what the other potential single may be?
So it was Pages was the first one, and the second one was We'll Be All Right. So I guess you can kind of the spin off from Pages. So Pages is basically me saying, I know I was wrong, I know I wasn't on the right page, but now I'm trying to get back to you, and you on a different chapter, and you left me in a different chapter, and then We'll Be All Right is basically saying, when we get back together, we're gonna work through everything. We'll be all right. Whatever we face, we'll be all right.
Now I gotta put you on a hot seat for a second. How much of these songs are reality? Like, is it experience that you've experienced personally, or is it something that you've seen someone around you go through?
Most of the songs I write come from personal experiences. For real. It might not be what's going on right now, but it's something that happened in the past.
And as a writer, does that make it easier for you to sing the song when you're creating the music?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, we got to get you back up here when you do drop those singles. I like the titles. I like the concepts. I think it's dope. I'm excited to see what else you have. And I want to see how we can collab in the community as well. I think that's very important also. Do you have some shout outs?
Shout out my mom, my dad, all my friends. I shout out Nisha, Biko. That's pretty much it. Jacob, that's my best friend. When you ask me what's my favorite collab I did, Jacob, we've been doing music together since we was kids, and we never made one song and put it out. And we put out this song last year called Killer. It's not talking about killing nobody, but it's called Killer, Killa, featuring Jacob Lattimore. If y'all want to listen to that, go check that out.
Shout out to Jacob, man. I remember when Tish used to have him around here at 11, 12 years old in these talent shows, and he's going on to do some amazing things as well. On the community piece, is there anything with the state of our city, particularly the youth and all of the things that's consistently happening, is there any advice or any encouragement that you would like to give our listeners regarding where we are and what needs to happen in order for us to move forward?
I always talk about when I was a kid, we had different community centers to go to, and they would provide us with whatever we needed as a kid. I know it's real. It's gonna be. I mean, now it's probably hard to grasp on all the kids, but when I was a kid, I didn't have time to go outside and be bad. Like, I come home from school, might do some homework, and go straight to the COA. That's where I grew up, at the COA. But you had Boys and Girls Club, you had the PAL Center, and they had everything. You want to learn how to dance, we got dance classes. You want to learn how to do art, you want to learn how to record. We got the gym. We gonna take y'all on trips. I feel like the community centers need to open back up, and we gotta have more grown-ups that actually care about it, because everybody that worked at them community centers really cared about us. Now that I'm older, I can tell they really care, because we was bad still, but they never gave up on us. So they punished us. We might couldn't have went on this field trip, or we can't go to the gym today, but that still built our character. So I feel like the community centers really would be a good start for the children, at least.
Absolutely, absolutely. How can people follow you or check out the music that you're dropping?
My music is on every streaming platform, so it's on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, pretty much everything. And then my social media, I'm mostly on Instagram, which would be.
It's been cool, baby.
Pull up with that. Hey, Truth Nation, 101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. American Family Insurance is a proud sponsor of The Truth. For almost 100 years, they've been committed to helping families protect what matters most: your home, your vehicle, and the dreams you are building every single day. If you are part of The the truth audience, you already know you work hard for yours. That's why having the right protection in place matters. American Family helps you stay ready for whatever life brings so you can focus on moving forward. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin. Z over there getting to it. It's Thursday, man. What's up, Meech?
Honey.
We made it. Almost. It's almost Friday.
Yeah, it's almost Friday.
It's almost Friday. And I'm going to tell you now. What's one thing you tired of in this city?
In this city?
Yeah.
The construction?
Yes. Listen. I am so sick and tired. I don't even want to drive. No, I caught an Uber today. That's how tired of the construction and traffic I am.
I've been catching rides, too. I mean, just because they said the 3rd Street Market was going to be here yesterday, for sure.
I'm over it. Like, from the south side to the north side to the east side, all the way up west going up Good Hope. It's construction every single where. But it's annoying because I feel like Wisconsin has a history of doing this purposely in the summertime.
Yeah.
Like, y'all can't do it in the other season.
Can't do it in the winter.
You can do it in the fall.
That means we gotta wait. We'll be waiting for them potholes to get filled. We would have been waiting for that.
I don't understand why it's taking so long to fix. You know what's taking so long to fix these streets? They keep putting this Nestle Crunch material to fill up these potholes,
Bruh.
and it's not doing nothing. Then I got to go back and do it again. I'm tired of it.
I rode over the biggest pothole today.
I did too, Meech. My whole front
even know
end.
it was there.
It's not even potholes at this point. It's sinkholes.
Mm-hmm.
Like real life sinkholes. Mess up your whole front wheel alignment. All of the above.
Yeah. You end up losing your axle.
Yes.
Wheel bearing.
Everything. I'm sending the city a check. I need my car fixed. Y'all play too much, for real.
But what area are you trying to avoid?
Oh, most definitely 35th and National.
35th?
Yes.
That construction. Oh, yeah, for sure.
See, the 27th bridge is down.
The over there, like going from, like if you're coming from north and you trying to go like to where it's like State Fair, you coming from the north side to
going Madison.
Man.
Oh my gosh. What?
You got to go all the way to the south side.
It's too much.
But yeah, the 35th Street Bridge gone. Or is that
27?
No, the 27th Street Bridge gone.
Yeah, 35th. You still can ride on it, but 27th Street Bridge is completely gone. They're remodeling that one. And then I don't understand why it's so slow going up Madison because there really is not. Oh, it is major construction up there.
Construction on Lisbon.
It's only 2 lanes.
Like from Burleigh,
you know what,
Lisbon
though?
to
They need Lisbon.
Oh my God.
Lisbon ain't got.
I'm trying to avoid that.
I'm trying to. They need Lisbon done so bad. I ain't even mad at it because it's been like that for years. It's been like that for years. We got a caller on the line. Al, are you there?
Yes, I am. See, the problem is they fix these potholes like they paying a junkie. You give them $10 to get a $300 job done because you know what the junkyard they're going to do is take that $10 and buy some good dope and coke and be walking the streets at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sweating like a pig talking about they lost and they be sitting up there crying after the drug is gone. But if you really want them to fix the potholes, tell them fix them like I'm white.
Hello.
Fix them like I got 26 characters in my last name and I control your voting. That's what you need to tell them. And if they take too long, you go right on over here to Home Depot. You can get you a bag of mortar. I think it's a 50-pound bag of mortar for like $5 and fix it yourself and send them the MF and receipt.
You know
they
what,
got
Al?
money for everything else.
You know what? I'm with you on that. For real. Fix my stuff like how y'all do Lake Drive. Okay? They got a fancy bike lane and everything.
They probably got their own different DPW.
But did you see how they did Lesbian with the bike lanes? And then if you go down Lake Drive and you see them bike lanes on Lake Drive, they did the bike lanes on Lake Drive like they paid $5 for a junkie and gave them some dope down dope. But you go up here on Lisbon right on 90th before you from 90th to Capitol, they did them bike lanes like like it was like Diane Carroll, like the last name had 62 characters, like they came from the mountains of the Loop, Minnesota, where they started pick and save from 3 stores, and they got compound interest. The only reason they doing that is because it's us. They fix the potholes like they paid a junkie. But if you tell them fix them like your white, matter of fact, they'll send you an email and send you a letter in the mail. Tell them fix them like I'm white. Fix my potholes like I got a 10 line when I take down my drone. Y'all have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Al. Listen, I was driving down Lake Drive. I love the lake, right? I love water. I was driving down a Lake Drive headed to the lake, and I seen they had the way that their bike lanes are set up. And I'm like, well, logically, why? I mean, I understand they have a different, system, but that makes the most sense. When you drive down the inner city of Milwaukee and you look at these people be about to, first of all, I am not a road rage driver.
Yeah, right.
I'm not. Sometimes.
Yeah, right. It's you though.
No, hello. If you don't get your, okay, what you say, girl? That's me for sure. But I don't let it
You
linger.
ain't finna stop and raise your window down.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not honking my horn or nothing either. I'm just gonna cuss you out in my car. I'm gonna cuss you out real loud and I'm gonna mug you, and then I'm gonna keep it pushing. Cause some people just do.
You be
some
looking
people
at them like,
just
that's why
stupid.
your car tore up now.
Like, what is you doing? But these bikers, they are so entitled. Move out the. First of all, whoever did
It's
this
the law,
is
though,
not.
Jazz.
No. I'm saying that's fine.
They are entitled.
That's
Actually,
fine.
If this is a bike lane, they almost have the right of way.
Listen, but still.
Why you put it over here?
First of all, why would you put the right turning lane after the bike lane, and we got to get over, and we can't get over because they in the bike lane?
Ma'am.
Put the bike lane to the far right, and then the turning lane.
Or the bike lane, then the parking lane. Like how they got it right there by the
Yes.
fair center is kind of like how I think it should be.
When you driving up Locust, I promise you, it's the lane,
It's more
then the
construction.
bike lane, then the turning lane. So now you like, how am I supposed to get over? I'm going to hit somebody if I try to get over.
You been down 76th Street over there off of Mill Road? It's like they not even doing nothing. It's just cones.
They said, skip this. They
just
tied.
cones. Like they'll switch the lane and switch it back.
They tied.
I haven't seen nothing that's been done over there.
They said,
but they got nothing but cones all the way from like Good Hope all the way to Flores almost.
They said, pay me my. I haven't seen them working on Mill Road either. Shout out to the chat. Marty officially joined the chat. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. He said, happy Thursday, Jazzy and Big Meech.
What's happening?
He said, summer bunnies got me crazy. Marty says, I do construction. It's all a monopoly. Jazzy, brothers like me eat good off y'all pain.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for letting us know, Marty.
Did he just blow the whistle?
He did. He did just blow the whistle. He said you get you a dump truck and run a bag up $250K.
Look, they got it on the news right there.
They got the whole they got the whole commissioner of Department of Public Works
Talking
doing
about
a
it
press
on what's that, Channel
conference.
12?
Yeah. Yep. Talking about it on Channel 12.
Talking about the potholes.
It don't make no sense.
Like this is almost 3 months later.
Yeah.
And we still feeling potholes.
And it's like an ongoing thing. Like at this point, I feel like that's what Milwaukee is really known for.
I mean, and then, like it's the effects from having the plows on the streets during the winter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Pretty much the plows keep turning over the concrete after so long. Once the snow melt, then we'll see the potholes and then we got to fill them.
The real problem is if they fix the street right the first time, instead of laying down that cheap material, we'll be okay. But they keep putting on the same material in every winter.
It costs, though, Jazz. In the city, it costs, and people not paying their taxes like they should be to get the stuff done how we want it to be.
I got my own conspiracy theory on that because I don't think it's just the taxpayers. I think the taxpayers are paying taxes, but I think somebody fat in their pocket.
I am a tax-paying citizen, and
yes.
I know
I pay my taxes.
saying we are paying taxes, but for the most part, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Or that's how they insinuate.
Yeah.
And so it's like, That's what I'm going off of.
They do. They do. They will try to put it on us. When in all actuality, they ain't got nothing to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody better come and get
'Cause
this
you remember
Nestle Crunch stuff up off these streets, man. I'm tired.
Remember the salt ran out in the winter time? How we
Listen,
running out of salt?
I woke
for the
up like,
streets?
okay, in the wintertime as a true Wisconsinite,
But that
at
goes into
4 in the morning, you're going to hear that salt truck. It was so bad outside. I'm tripping. I'm like, am I tripping or did I not hear any salt trucks?
One time I didn't hear any either.
They said, forget it. We ain't got no money. Ain't nothing we could do. Y'all just gonna be sliding on ice like I pay. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. Madi says, facts, Jazzy. A lot of selling going on. Brookfield looking real good. It is. The surrounding areas are always looking good, man. But it is frustrating because there are a lot of people who can't afford to get their cars fixed. For real. Like when I tell you I ran into the biggest sink pothole today, that you know how you driving and you don't see it and then you get the inside of you.
I think it's a wheel tax. It's a wheel tax. Let me see. We paying for the wheel tax, like when you register your car. Like it's an actual wheel tax.
Yeah, they gonna have to run. The city of Milwaukee gonna have to run me my money, man. For
I
real.
guess that's supposed to be used. That's what I'm guessing until I look it up. That's supposed to be used to kind of like help with the streets.
Yeah.
Cause
I guess it's time to just get a pickup truck. That's what it sounds like to me. Got to get a big boy, Expedition or something, because listen, having these SUVs and these cars riding around this city, man, it's a wrap.
Okay, the Wisconsin wheel tax is a local vehicle registration fee collected by municipalities or counties in addition to the state registration fee used to exclusively for transportation-related purposes. So we don't know what the purposes is.
Well, you said they left that part out.
Yeah, so let me dig a little deeper. But another area of construction, or just like, what's another area you be trying to avoid? Just the freeway.
Right. Well, in the inner city, I try to avoid driving through the inner city. That's what I try to avoid, and that's what's making me frustrated because now I'm on a highway. So going out towards like Mequon, and Menominee Falls and Brown Deer, that Good Hope area right there, but mainly going towards Madison. It is horrible, Meech. In that one little spot where it's just 2 lanes, it is horrible.
Yeah. So the tax is $41 in the city of Milwaukee. $41 extra charge in the county. Milwaukee County is $30 outside of the city. So they don't tell me. I'm not seeing what it's getting used for.
So you said it's $41, and there's 559,000 residents that live in the city of Milwaukee.
I mean, that's not vehicles registered, so you could probably.
So let's say half of that. That's still, to me, that's still enough, is it not?
Yeah, I mean,
where's the money going, man?
If I'm paying $41, I should own one of them potholes.
I'm trying
I should
to
be able to
tell
fix
you.
it myself.
I'm trying to tell you. So listen, I'm gonna stop, get out my car in the middle of the street, and just start filling these potholes. Listen. I cannot do it. Between the construction and this, is just entirely too much. It actually makes you not, like, you can't even enjoy the summer. It's a 12 to 15 minute traffic jam every single day. Even coming down here to the 3rd Street Market Hall.
Yeah.
It's a traffic jam.
It says the municipality or county must use all revenue from the wheel tax for transportation related purposes. So that could be, they could take the wheel tax and give it to the bus transportation related purposes. It could be anything that's out there on the street,
right? Not
necessarily the actual street you're driving on. So it could be street lights, light poles.
Yeah.
Traffic lights.
So we do.
Traffic signs.
Now we do need to talk about
fences.
these street lights, because when you go in certain neighborhoods in Milwaukee. Man, and I'm not going to push the blame on the older people, because I've actually sat in some of these community brainstorming meetings and town halls where you have that department come and they talk about funding when it comes to even the streetlight piece. Like, there's not enough funding to do it, but something has to happen, man. It be so dark and in some of these neighborhoods that's not the safest for kids.
And like the barricades they put out don't even be like they used to flash.
Yes.
And now
it does nothing.
Like it's a little roundabout, not even a roundabout, but like the little street where it's Canal Street actually.
Yeah.
And then you come from if you come from the Brewer Stadium, you go to Canal. Once you hit the bridge by 33rd,
can't see.
You can't see nothing. It's like so tight on that little bridge next to the freeway. You trying to get down.
Yes. If you drive into certain neighborhoods, once the sun goes down, it almost look like you on a movie The Purge. It's dark. It's just random people walking around. Like, it's insane. It is insane.
Some street lights got actual, like I seen them changing them to like LEDs.
And I hate that.
You hate that color?
I don't like that.
You missed the orange Milwaukee.
Yes. The real one when we was little. That's how that was the indication to go in the house.
Yeah.
We need that. We need that. Truth Nation, do not touch that dial. We got to go to break to pay some bills. Meech is in the building. Jazzy and Meech tap in 101.7 The Truth.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkuprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about
people go out, turn up on a weekend? I don't feel like I did that.
I have too. And you know what? Someone hit me from Truth Lounge inviting me to their wind down today. We should probably pull up.
It's we.
You like I threw the we in there? I threw the we in there. But I'm just noticing it's like, is it easier to kick it at this age during the week or on the weekends?
During the week.
During the week. I agree too.
During the week is a little better because, I don't think you deal with all of the traffic, the lines, stuff like that.
The nonsense.
The YNs.
The YNs.
You don't have to deal with all of that traffic.
Yeah.
Like even just say if you want to go get something to eat on the weekends. Oh my God, it's traffic getting there.
Yeah.
It's traffic. Don't be traffic getting there. Then it's like, at least standing in line for an extra 15 minutes if you're getting out the car.
Absolutely.
You stand in the car, the drive through,
like
extra 15 minutes.
Yep.
So I mean, like on the weekend, I'll be trying to decide like, should I go? On the weekdays, I can get out the car.
Yes.
And go in and chill and it's a little bit time. Weekends it'd be feel like
I don't like hanging out or doing anything on the weekends. If I do, I'm up at 8:00 in the morning. I'm going to do what I need to do so I can be in the house about 10 o'clock before everybody and their mama is outside.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do with outside on the weekends.
Because everybody else outside.
Yeah.
That's why I said the weekday at this age is almost like the weekend.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you said, go to a little lounge or something on the weeknight.
Yeah.
Not too late. You know what I mean? You gotta be out too late.
I miss having that energy though, of being able to get up and just every day of the week it was something going on. Red Zone Sundays.
I mean,
Music
that's
Mondays.
How I felt because you was in that age bracket.
Yeah.
To where you was still trying to be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we passed the cool stage.
I'm trying to tell you.
You almost a legend around here. So it's like
I ain't going. I just want that energy to be able to still, like not hang out, but like the energy I had being. Do you remember pulling all-nighters in the studio, staying out, and then going to eat afterwards? Like having that energy is what I miss.
Like the whole time.
Yes.
Like
I be in bed by like 8:30.
Like now being in the studio. It has its ups and downs because it's like, okay, like you said, okay, just say a whole day at the studio.
Yeah.
Wake up, get dressed, go get something to eat or eat.
Yep.
Start about 10 a.m.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Start about 10 a.m. About 1 o'clock, you need a break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on the sessions or whatnot, you need a break. Depending on how you booking the sessions.
Yeah.
You need a little break or in between sessions, you take a little break. But then it's like, Like that's now you coming down.
Yep.
Around 2, 3 o'clock.
Up.
3 o'clock, you feeling like, oh my God, because now by 5, 6 o'clock, now you have different type of sessions coming through.
Yes.
So it's almost another turn up, and then from 6 to 10,
even different type of turn up.
Yes, because now you got the people that's coming.
Yep.
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they come in. It might be, a little bit more party atmosphere.
Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, they got more people with them, or just not it. Especially if you ain't got no windows in the studio.
Yeah.
If you ain't got no windows in the studio, you'll get lost in it and you won't even feel the effect.
Yep.
So that's why ain't too many windows in studios. But just like at home, you go from sun up to sun down, and almost back up to sun again. Because sometimes I'll be up to 4, and I hear the birds chirping.
Step outside. Them long sessions. You step outside and see the light. Like,
man,
it was going down. Speaking of music, how do you feel about this whole situation with Moneybagg Yo and this lawsuit with his manager? Like, I feel like
that's a lot of money. $100 million. I think that's probably his worth.
She's asking back pay since 2017.
I mean, it's warranted if you was actually the manager. So it's like being a manager, you know what I mean? I could kind of say you do kind of fork over a lot of expenses, a lot of time, and you can only say what that's worth based on what you risked in that time frame. You know what I mean? Now you add that plus what he's made.
So I feel like as a manager now, right, I understand both sides. What I will say is, me personally, I'm okay with handshake situations depending on what I'm all putting into it. Because some stuff is just like, it ain't even nothing there for me to be writing a contract,
it was a
right?
handshake deal?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
so she said... So this is what she said. Now this is where it gets tricky and it don't make sense to me because it sounds like some pimping was going on right here.
Or somebody like somebody.
Hello. She went and used her own personal credit and finances to get him a Rolls Royce.
Bruh. No, she definitely thought she was getting that on the back end.
Yes.
As far, and not even in monetary concerns.
Hello.
I think she thought she was going to end up being with him if she did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
She got him a Rolls Royce. He met her because she was a finance manager at Bank of America. So he asked her to be his manager because she started helping him with his finances. Then she started breaking the bread. She started buying this, buying that, getting, the rapper kit.
Side chick vibes.
Side chick rapper kit. I got you, babe. What you need? You want to be a rapper? I'm going to get you a Rolls Royce. We going to get you some jewelry.
So you think it's with her case is fugazi?
I think 50-50. I think that she did indeed invest, but I think where women or just people in general mess up is mixing business with pleasure. You thought because that he liked you, or you thought he liked you, and by you doing this that he was going to pay you back. No, that's the easiest and slickest way for a man to say, I want this about you. Do this for me, and I got you.
Right.
And it's a handshake because y'all crack it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look up but again, it goes back to the question at hand throughout this entire day. Why now?
That's what I was going to say. Like, why it take so long? Moneybagg Yo been out here with almost 10 years.
Why now?
When did she become his manager?
2017.
That's 10 years.
Why now? It's like you sitting back waiting on.
When did she stop becoming his manager? Or when she stopped managing?
When Roc Nation took over.
And what was that?
So apparently there was an agreement that was supposed to be made where she would receive $5,000 a week, which is roughly $20,000 a month, on top of a G-Wagon.
But she gave him a Rolls Royce. I don't understand. Why didn't you just keep the G-Wagon?
This was the agreement once he went over to Roc Nation. That they were, and then she will also receive compensation that he would give her compensation from his residuals.
Roc Nation been having problems. I mean, they don't have the problems, but they constantly getting brought up into snatching artists away from their situation.
They bullying.
Yeah, I mean.
But I mean, when you think about it from a logical stance, and because I Roc Nation, Smock Nation, whatever.
It's
right?
like, it's almost like firing your lawyer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have a manager. She's not known. It doesn't matter. There's a corporation. Come over here. We can do more for you than she can do. And which logically, any artist that's moving up, they're going to want a big, management company. However, what I don't agree with is when people do stuff like this. If this is the person, whether your intentions as an artist was good or not, that was really giving it, pouring into you and investing into you, man, just look out for your people, dude. Even if you're not dealing with them. Look out for people, and you won't have to worry about it coming back. Now, I'm not saying that's the case in this situation, because I can see it's some funny business going on. But if that is or was the situation, we got to do better.
How much is a Rolls Royce?
Well, it's about 100, ain't it? 150. Madi says a Rolls Royce costs more than a G-Wagon.
That's why I said, how much is a Rolls Royce? $370,000.
Come on.
A Ghost. A Cullinan is $392.
Let me tell you.
Black Badge version is $454,000.
I got to tell you how slick Moneybagg Yo is, bro, because first of all, that was a lick. She work at Bank of America. Her credit A1. She know finance, everything. Come on now.
A Rolls Royce can exceed $1 million depending on the model and customization. Okay, let's see what.
But also look at how much it appreciates over the year, the value. So we're talking 9 years.
You bought him a Rolls Royce, so it don't even matter the value.
Listen,
it ain't even yours no more.
No, I'm speaking on that's the amount of money she's asking for. She's looking at all of that.
$100 million, right?
Yeah, she asking for $100 million. But how much does this type of car appreciate over time?
So G-Wagon is $56,000 up to $187,000. This is double, triple the price of what you wanted.
First of all, if I'm getting you a Rolls Royce in my name, I don't want no G-Wagon and $20,000 a month in return.
That's what you wanted before you got the Rolls. That's what you wanted before you got the Rolls Royce, though. Like, you thinking you finna get this 20 G's, he paying me, I could. You almost gave the man that's paying you the money back. And now you want the money back.
So, Lavender Sterling says she had to wait for him to build his brand and his net worth so she could maximize her lawsuit if she sued him before. Now she couldn't ask for as much. Sit back and wait. Let them cook first, then collect.
That's almost what you was talking about earlier.
Yeah. And Madi says Rolls Royce don't lose value. Right, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say that it lose value. I said how much value has it accrued since 2017?
It's not yours.
But that's what she's basing her funding off of. She's basing her $100 million off of what she's invested 10 years ago and how it appreciated, during this time.
Yeah.
Like, first and foremost, I won't be too hard on her because the reason why I said that is because I don't know her. But what I do know is, like, people genuinely do be wanting to see people make it. That's why you be like, man, let's just build it together, right?
You know how many people came out and said Diddy did something to them after the case?
People want to build together. If they believe in you, they're going to invest and pour inside of you. But what I don't agree with, what I will push back and stand on is stop mixing business with pleasure and money.
That's basically what it is, because you wait so long. Like she said, like, you wait till they get it all, become the best version of themselves, and then now you want to
hit him with this. Because you see him doing his thing with Ari. You know what I'm saying? He having, man, come on. You had 10 years, sis.
I wonder when she stopped.
10 years. Truth Nation, we got to go to
responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler, Digi Meech. We are live and direct. We are talking contracts, man. Moneybagg Yo. Meech, he got slapped with $100 million lawsuit, but apparently the man's value, he's only worth $12 million.
Yeah, he only worth 12. That's the most credible source said he's only worth $12 million. It's crazy if she even get close to the $100 million. It's I don't even know. I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to see how she got.
Are you out of your damn mind?
To 100. How you get to $100 million lawsuit? Okay, she says she used her own money, credit, and business experience to build the Moneybagg Yo brand, investing between. This is what she said she did invested $1.5, and between 1.5 and 2 million. This including putting down $125,000 down on a Rolls Royce for him, paying off his credit cards, buying him $50,000 in jewelry, funding social media promotion, managing day-to-day operations, and even helping with his children's needs.
I mean, is that pimping or is that management? I'm trying, not her, but what I'm saying is I don't know anyone that does not have a contract with the artist that's going to do that unless there's relations involved.
But this is a handshake agreement. She said she entered with him $5,000 a week. The Mercedes G-Wagon she wanted, and then 1/3 ownership of all past and future brand revenue, reimbursements and other perks through Bread Gang Enterprises, which is his company. That was she started messing with him 2015, 16. By 17, he was earning $3 million, and she said none of that success would have happened without her. So I don't know, how do you get to $100 million? Okay, she won $100 million in compensatory damages, punitive damages from Roc Nation, a full accounting of Moneybagg Yo's earnings, a constructive trust granting her 1/3 of revenues from January 1st, 2017 and onward.
So she's basically going after Roc Nation too, to pay, whether he's worth $12 million or not. She's saying y'all got to pay up too.
Oh yeah, she said they had intentional interference with the contract, whatever handshake contract she got.
So the handshake contract is legal in certain states, but the problem is if you don't have the evidence to back it, it's nothing.
Or no receipts or anything,
it's nothing.
Yeah, she signed. She said Moneybagg signed with Roc Nation without honoring her financial stake.
So this is where it's going to get messy, and it's going to get
her out. Yeah.
It's going to get tricky, because if he presents receipts to show that they were having relations, her case is going to be dismissed.
Of course.
Her case is going to be dismissed. A handshake agreement means absolutely nothing if I'm giving you $125,000. First of all, I'm not giving no man $125,000 to put down on no car if I ain't even got one. I don't care, artist, husband, boyfriend, whoever. Make it, and again, there is, as a manager, there is a way to bet on your client, to invest in them. But to me, that sounds like it's more than what's being said.
Yeah. Let me see how she look.
Would you say me?
I gotta see a picture now. I mean,
that determines it all.
Yeah, let me see.
That determines it all.
Yeah. Let me see.
It's not smart. It's just not smart business practices, period, to do something like that. And again, it's not to take away from her intention to say that she wasn't genuinely just trying to, invest in her artist, because after all, she didn't ask him. He asked her. He asked her to be his manager, in which would make sense if she's working at Bank of America. She's been there for a while. She's experienced in finance. Her credit A1. If you're an artist that's on a come up, that's a come up. That is a come up. But at some point, I don't care if you never manage your artist or not. You got to use your common sense.
Mm-hmm.
You got to use your common sense.
I think she had all her pictures removed.
Because, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You done put all this money up for a guy, and then he gets snatched out by a major company who starts managing him. And do you even got him enough money to go back and forth with Roc Nation? Because they got some money.
Yeah, so she's saying he went from $2,500 a show to who he is today.
Because of her.
But that was 4 years ago. So this last 4 years, she ain't been around Moneybagg.
So I wonder what happened to where, because sometimes in stories like this, maybe he did give her something, but she want more. You know what I'm saying? Or what if it was relations and she was bitter? It's just so many different dynamics.
They amended it to whatever the amount is now. And I mean, it's set for trial. They probably been going through all this depositions and stuff, briefings and stuff up until then, all these motions up until now.
Yeah.
But she filed it in 2017, or no, it's 2022.
I honestly,
or 2019 she filed it. 2022 it was amended to maybe reflect $100 million. Now it's breaking news, but I don't think it should have been that much at the time when she actually filed it. She probably.
I don't think so neither.
He could have settled if it was really, cause it seemed like he taking it to trial, so it's set for October.
Yeah, because he probably know he was cracking.
I mean, cause he's probably some BS.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But see, again, it's like I just, all jokes aside, I really, really, really hate to see like people that, again, they arrive at their destination. They find a person, they have their family, they're making money, they're successful, and then boom, they get all kind of backlash, hit with lawsuits, all this other kind of stuff. Like, I wonder if there was a situation where they could have settled out of court. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. Like, it was 2019, so he essentially let it get to this point. Like, he could have probably settled.
Yeah.
For whatever she initially did it for, especially knowingly that if you know that she kind of helped. Like, that's the bogus part right there. Like, when you know she helped, the number 100 million could be exaggerated, but when you know she helped and you just like, take me to court, forget it. So it got to be some underlying issue between them two.
It has to. I was just watching a clip on Instagram from Punch and Rico Love, who was talking about managing artists and how they would never do it again because these are the risks that you take. Hey, I need help. Let's build this together. Then when they get to a certain spot, boom, down. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap.
I mean, I've been there as a manager. I used to manage the Twins for a minute, and then boom, I didn't. And then I end up getting back on a payroll with them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I never really stopped recording them, but just the managing part, like once they had a deal, they end up
going
because
they're
route.
Controlled now.
Yeah,
they got to do whatever the label tell them to do.
But it wasn't the best thing because I ended up having to get them out the same deal
situation. Yeah. Truth Nation, we want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Is a handshake agreement okay when you are investing in an artist? Do not touch that dial. We got to go to break. 101.7 The Truth.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975.
Moneybagg time. Now y'all gonna give them a couple dollars to pay her, huh?
Z, turn it up, man. We talking contracts and agreements, man. Apparently, Moneybagg Yo got slapped with a $100 million lawsuit from his previous manager, who said that he was stolen by Roc Nation, that she invested $175,000 down payment on a Rolls Royce, amongst various of other things. The story, I can't say whether it's true or not. My personal opinion, sounds like it was some relations or something else involved. Because I just, as a manager, right, there is things I'm willing to invest, but I can't see myself doing that to just my client, for just my client, unless there was some type of relations or something involved,
or some type of real contract. I'm not,
or exactly.
I mean, like you are, if you already getting $2,500 a show, that's a lot of money for even a local artist.
Yeah.
So if you dealing with him at the time where he just not getting off the ground, that's still a lot of money to be playing with as a manager.
Facts.
A show, you know what I mean? Knowing that he
back then too,
he either under the label that he was under. But we know he wasn't under Roc Nation, but it's like, okay, he was signed to CMG. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So which is a major brand, not a major label, got a major label distribution deal under CMG. So it's like you already knowing, dealing with Yo Gotti and everybody that was over there at the time, that he was going to pop. You know what I mean? So and then whoever allowed this to just go down, probably Moneybagg Yo, you already knew that it's no receipts behind none of this, which is like a contract. If no contract to begin with, anything else after that is just a gift.
It's just, come on, Meech. Come on now. It is. It is. If you don't have nothing in agreement, I'm not trying to hear a handshake contract to me is like Hey man, I'm still trying to get off the ground. I'm making just enough, right now.
That's a lot of money though.
Okay, cool. But we're talking like you made the executive decision. Because not in that document did it say he asked her to. Okay, that's another thing. You made the executive decision to go and put $100.
As a manager, you make those decisions. Be like, okay, I'm gonna go get you a whip, or we need to upgrade your look, or whatever the case is.
Do you think she did this before or after he asked her?
Even whatever he asked to be his manager for the materials he needed for his career, whatever he asked for, you still got to get it in writing. Because he's asking for this. If I'm gonna give it to you, I got to get it on paper to know that I'm getting this back.
Absolutely.
That's what the paperwork is for. It's not because I want to give it to you. It's because I need, so that way you won't come and try to ask for it back. You want it back. You need the paperwork to say this why you gave it to him in
the first place. In the first place. Shout out to the chat. Lavender Sterling says, relations or not, a legal contract should have been in place. People have to stop thinking with their hearts and be business minded when it's needed. She messed up. Big loss. Madi says, last night I took an L, but tonight I bounced back. Hey, listen, for real. Exactly. Relations or not. But the reason why I bring up relations is because a lot of times people like to be slick. And if they feel like they can make you feel like y'all together, then that pretty much like gets rid of you having a physical contract. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, we together. What we need paperwork for?
Yeah, and it could be just the relationship, how it grew into that, when we had these little feelings. Yeah. So she could have thought more
than what it was.
Or hoping that it could become more than what it was. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was
feeling it couldn't have been nothing.
Because that's right around the time when Ari came in the picture.
Oh, yeah. So give me my money.
That's right around the time.
Give me my money. It could have been nothing, too. It could have been she genuinely just wanted to see him win. But either way,
Ari come in the picture.
That was a dumb decision. Mm-hmm. Man, listen.
You can't say you a manager and don't have a contract.
Facts. That's a fact.
That's really where it comes down to.
Especially if you're dishing out that type of money.
You're the manager. So this ain't the only handshake agreement he has.
Come on now.
Because if you're the manager doing handshake agreements, because I had a handshake agreement with the twins, and it was about 3 parts.
Yeah.
But that's the only way. I still got paid once they went another way.
But still.
I got paid.
Yeah.
When they went another way.
That part.
I got paid. I got my money when they left.
Yeah.
But then they came, had to get them out the deal. And it's still a handshake agreement.
It's still a handshake agreement.
But at the end of the day, we do real business behind the scenes with the contracts and stuff like that. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be your manager, woo-woo, but everything else are splits on the songs. Yeah. And all of that. And even me producing y'all is on contract.
Yeah, everything.
Because that's really where it started from, like me producing them.
Yeah.
Like I produced this album. That's the contract. You know what I mean?
Madi says he cut her off. Now the lawsuit, she full of it. Period. Yeah. What you say? That's right around the time Ari came in the picture. And even if that was the case, I'm just simply saying, make sure your paperwork is together and make sure that you're taking care of your people. If somebody looks out for you, I don't care how big another label is that come and snatch you up or whatever. Even if you don't want to take them with you, make sure they straight.
Yeah.
Just make sure they straight.
Contracts is just the agreement. It's not saying all contracts is not putting you under something.
Yeah.
So, contracts get negotiated.
Yeah. Yep.
All deals get negotiated. It's only a deal when you agree to whatever terms is, arise.
Yep.
You're able to negotiate these terms.
And there is, the other day, Chad Roper brought it up. It's something inside of a contract where, I knew that's what it was. Sunset agreement.
Yeah.
That even if y'all part ways and they blow up, you get paid still.
Yeah.
That could have been, instead of a handshake agreement, she could have had that set in place.
Yeah, that for sure that's really where you get your percentage from. You know what I mean? You have your percentage based off the shows or the revenue, and that's based off the money you put in, too. So you can be like, okay, as a manager, 20% base rate. You know what I mean? 20% all revenue or just shows. It all depends on what you and the artist agreed upon. Sometimes it'd be like, I'm just getting 20% off of shows that I book. Yeah. You know what I mean? Some of them be like, well, I'm getting 20% off of revenue, all revenue, because I'm putting in money, too.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you could calculate that and then be like, okay, this is what I'm owed. So until that 20% gives me, till I recoup that, what I put in off the 20%, you still owe me after the agreement. You know what I mean?
Man, it's a dirty world out here, me.
I mean, but no, that's not dirty.
Be more careful.
That's not dirty, though.
No, I'm just saying it's all fun and games until, you know what I mean? Like, you have to go into business thinking logically. Again, you can want to, you know what I'm saying? You can want people to do better. You can believe in them and all of that. That's fine. But when you get to investing in an artist, that ain't that's nothing to be played with.
I tell them I'm not the investment manager.
Yeah, at all.
I'm the creative manager.
Yes.
I'm gonna help you create and bust whatever move that we could come up with together. But I'm not the financial part of this deal.
Yep. She should have been an investor and not a manager.
Yeah. I mean, that's what her role was at the bank.
Yeah. Hello. Where was your antennas? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but people take off more bites than they could chew. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, she feel like, okay, I'm gonna be his name, and he gonna make it. I could get an extra percentage being his manager.
But see, again, use your spidey senses, ladies, because a lot of times men will come with these games and be like, oh yeah, baby, let's do this. And then ain't nothing in place. You look up he on and you filing a lawsuit while this man got a whole family, successful and all of the above. You got to be careful, man.
I mean, that's with anything. You know what I mean? I think yesterday in the booth we was talking about how marriage is the contract.
Facts.
So, you know, don't be scared to sign the contract. Marriage is a contract.
It is.
So, I mean, whatever else outside of that contract,
you
could do whatever, you know, together. But that contract says what it says. You know
so we're not doing anything just because we believe in somebody no more. We doing it. You have to protect yourself too. Because if you don't, people will use you until they can't. They will misuse you until they can't misuse you no more. Mm-hmm. And then when it's not beneficial for them, they'll go in and what did he do? Roc Nation. Okay, I'm at this level now, which makes sense.
But she got to file a lawsuit. In the way she's filing it, instead of just saying he breached the contract, they saying she saying she didn't get compensated for getting into another agreement,
right? Or the promise of $5,000 a week in that G-Wagon.
I can't even get off that because it's always something crazy. Like, how you get away the G-Wagon?
$5,000 a week.
You get a Rolls Royce and you want a G-Wagon.
Like,
don't make sense.
Come on, man. Listen, thank you so much, Truth Nation, for tapping in with us. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on IG at TapMKE. Be sure to tune in Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, we got a special guest at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. NBA star Larry Hughes will be joining us. Please make sure that you tune in. We love y'all. Have a safe night. 101.7 The Truth.
Hey, pretty woman, I make them crazy.